pollution and corporate impunity have affected communities in the Niger Delta significantly, in many ways, including the social, environmental, and economic sectors. Communities continue to suffer loss of livelihoods due to degraded ecosystem, and this has been compounded by impacts of climate change through sea level rise and flooding and coastal erosion. Frequent oil spills, gas flaring, and biodiversity loss has destroyed fisheries and wildlife habitats. Human health is directly impacted by a cocktail of toxic elements released to the environment from gas flares, oil spills, and dumping of waste. Besides the socio-economic and health impacts, some communities have in the past been displaced by pollution and force of repression. A visit to some communities in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria exposed how oil companies operate with impunity, ignoring environmental standards and human rights. The consequences of environmental degradation and lack of corporate accountability continue to pile the stories of woe on the people. Due to the absence of Niger Delta-wide socio-ecological and health assessments, the full impact of impunity in the oil fields on the health, environment, and economy of the people is yet to be holistically ascertained. From reports such as the assessment of the environment of Ogoniland by the United Nations Environment Programme and that of the Bayelsa State's Environment Commission titled Environmental Genocide, it is clear that the region is a ticking ecological time bomb.
Oil has divided all the communities, even family, ordinary family. That is the psychological side of it. They splitted all the families. Very dangerous. That thing has affected our solidarity, even our morale. It has destroyed many things. And also, it has poisoned the earth. Exploration of oil is dangerous. That type of exploration is dangerous to human society, and it also abuses the soil. It dislocates all the internal and coercive, forces that control the earth.
The Lower Creek, where we can say tributaries, where we ferment cassavas, right there, we've been getting fish. We've been getting periwinkle. We've been getting small jumbo fish. That when after harvesting, after fermenting cassava, we enter those little mud there, mudland, flatland there, and we get this thing without traveling anywhere. But right now, all those places are covered with mud. The sea region, coming to the main sea, only fish that survive now is little tilapia. Our periwinkle have gone away. Our crayfish have gone away. Our crab has gone away. Our shellfishes are like ostra, all those fishes have gone away. Unless, before you see another type of fish here, people that can manage to get engine boat and they travel deep sea. Is the people that you can get another species of fish from.
She left Ogoni without adequate plan. And so when they left, they abandoned their facility and all the facilities got corroded. The gaskets got corroded and then it began to leak profusely. This is well 27 and 52. That oil well 2752 leaked profusely and spread oil into the whole of this environment. You can see the profile of that wellhead is elevated higher, And so because it is higher, when oil spilled there, it's easy to now spread into the surrounding environment. And that's why we get all this area now contaminated. We have QC 019009 in front there, and there is another one, QC 019007. There's QC 019005. So the whole of this axis has been marked for remediation. Sadly, even when Shell know that we have this problem here, they abandon it. UNEP report was since 2011. Nothing has happened. The owners of this place cannot use this place to do anything whatsoever.
Since we've been having this incident spilling here, so many things has gone out of hand. We couldn't get our food the way it's supposed to be before. We also discovered that the texture of our soil is no longer like before. Your plants, all your plants, your cassavas, your vegetable will be very stunted. They will not grow. That causes a lot of hunger here. Our lafia trees, fishes in the river, some of us dug fish pond. All those things are no longer in use. It's not functioning. No matter how we tried, if you want to revisit your fish pond again, even though you put 100,000, 200,000 fishes inside, they will all died. We don't have money to sensitize or renew the place again. So as such, we suffer the impact of that spillage.
Since 2021, this thing occurred, the corrosion from the well. So when the thing occurred, several people have been coming here. Say they are share worker, they are not doing anything. There are some set of people who came here with the 2 GP tank. They draw it from the well there. Say they are coming to do borehole here for us, knowing fully that the well is not it's in corrosion. So after taking the brood, they came again, which is 4 times. They came here 2021, they came again 2022. But the last year and this year they have not come again. So they will do borehole for us. I'm not seeing anything. So we have to manage and go to contribution and do this is more than we did here. As a way of sustaining living from the water, nothing they are doing. But when they are digging the road there, we still get that good oil on that place.
In 2021, though there is a family not far from here, they started experiencing 2016, and through that family, we've been able to engage Shell through a letter, which Shell replied to us, acknowledging the presence of hydrocarbon in the community water well. And in that, they alluded that it is, I think the crude oil is there from their fingerprint, their crude oil. And so they promised an intervention to clean up the polluted underground water. After that, they came in again in 2020 and closed up the well. And they actually started what seems to look like a remediation, which is an aeration process using air, underground air, to disperse liquid from the area of concentration. And ever since that started, the crude oil were dispersed from that environment where it was much, and these people now have started experiencing it. We pushed it away far from Chukwure's family's compound, and people here are now experiencing it. That is a challenge. And I think the community accounted that Shell has also come to look at the well and took samples, and they haven't got back to them. And it has been their character. They will take samples, you will not see them again.
Communities suffered greatly from gas flaring and oil spills, and the profits gained from oil extraction has made corporations involved to continue with the business as usual, in a total negligence of harm caused.
Communities have been abused several times. The environment has also been abused several times, because when you have environmental rights are also human rights. So that has been one of the major issues. And again, the manner in which the company has been operating in the Niger Delta in most communities, as if they are lords and nobody could speak to them, as if they are above the law, nobody could tell them what to do, which is very, very sad, because in a situation where the country has laws that are obeyed, you will have, or you will find, companies respecting community demands. You will have companies respecting the rights of nature. You have companies respecting the rights of the communities, and not work and just behave as if they are lords over all and nobody can talk to them.
Today we don't even have land to farm. We could barely find our fish, our clams, our seafoods to eat. We now live on what they call ice fish, buying mackerels and the one they call shiny and the rest. Those are the kind of fishes we find today in our environment. A core coastal community, a one-time food basket of the rivers people, and by extension the Niger Delta area. We can't even talk about having quality cassava production, which used to be, the cassava flakes people talk about, gari. In fact, we don't have it today. We even import gari into our areas before we can sell. The impact of oil are so enormous that we have high cost of living in our area. Today, what we call one sorrow basin of gari, which is just about 4 coastal rubber of gari, goes for about 14 to 18,000 naira. When we are originally producers of cassava, we are originally farmers, but we cannot even have enough to eat. For you to even have food in your environment, you must add fertilizer, which wasn't the practice before this time, because we don't have good soil any longer. Oil pollution has affected the area. And what we're even complaining about is that there's huge negligence of the oil companies on the part of women. We are the core users of land. We are the farmers. We are the subsistent farmers within the environment. But when the oil companies want to interact with communities, if they even want to do so, they look at our male folk, they look at the chiefs, and most chiefs are men, so they don't have any time for women. So women are not even considered as stakeholders in the discourse that has to do with oil extraction or oil, maybe benefits that comes with it.
One of the things that happens to us in the environment where we find ourselves is that human activities, corporate activities, do disrupt our connection with the environment in a way that is violent and unacceptable. Because our response is always to connect again to the environment that nature has given to us. The Niger Delta, for example, has been so abused by oil and gas extraction for the past almost 70 years. Right from when the first commercially viable oil well was drilled in 1956, and even before then, there were a lot of oil wells and prospecting going on in the region. But from 1956, that marked a turning point where a once beautiful environment became highly damaged by the irresponsible activities of oil corporations.
The issue of gas flaring has been a significant source of environmental damage and chronic loss in the Niger Delta region. Deadlines set for ending gas flaring has been repeatedly shifted by the government, and citizens have little confidence in the new target of ending the illegal action by 2030. Stakeholders continue to express disappointment over the nation's policies that affects communities while protecting the big polluters.
The thing is, right now, the companies are actually not suffering any consequences for their actions and inactions. The law actually gives them a huge, leeway, to escape, consequences, to escape accountability. And that's at the crux of this entire conversation. We should be able to have a framework for ensuring that the polluter actually pays. So if you create a mess, you have to clean it up. And that's why we are demanding that the Niger Delta communities are actually restored, to the way they were originally. There is regulatory laxity, and there could be some regulatory capture already happening. I mean, when we see companies, doing. I mean, there's already a lot of laws and policies in place. Look at gas flaring, for instance. One of the things that can be done to give justice, to communities that are involved in that host oil and gas operations is to firmly take a firm stand on the issue of gas flaring.
Every human is entitled to live in an environment that is free of pollution, and an environment where they can enjoy clean and quality air to breathe, water that is not polluted by chemicals and carcinogens, that an environment where they can grow crops or harvest fish and the fish is not polluted. That's a right, and being subjected to these abject conditions where these things are not possible are a violation of that right. And it's important to note that and to enforce that right on behalf of these communities. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, there is a conflict between the role of the state being partnered with the perpetrators and also the state being responsible for protecting these individual or these collective rights of the humans who are exposed to these activities, and that conflict needs to be resolved.
I think the future for Niger Delta, if we leave things the way they are, we should not hide away from the fact. If we leave things the way they are, continue business as usual, polluting the Niger Delta or refusing to do proper cleanup of the Niger Delta, and we are also not doing adequate compensation of the losses and damages that have happened to the Niger Delta, if we are not doing adequate relocation, and providing adequate source of livelihood, to the Niger Delta, I think what we are practically doing by this kind of neglect is creating a time bomb for the country.
All companies have been able to behave with absolute impunity for a number of reasons. The first one being that they operate in partnership with the government. And so the regulator is also an operator. When you operate, you have to regulate yourself, the regulation must be very lax. Every issue that goes to the court, for example, in Nigeria against an oil company, would always have the government tied to it because the government and the companies are working together. So this has made regulation very, very almost impossible. And we have to take note of that. Secondly, the Nigerian state depends so much on revenue from oil for its foreign exchange earnings. And because of that, they don't want to stop the flow of the resources. They just allow the oil corporations to get away with murder.
The impact resonates across the nation as waterways and water bodies are connected and hold value to local and national economies, agriculture, industry, business, and energy. Addressing pollution from oil companies in Nigeria requires comprehensive strategies, including strict regulations, better governance, active community engagement, and a commitment to environmental justice by everyone involved. This is the pathway to achieve a long-term solution to challenges posed by destructive oil extraction in the region. The environment is the very base of our life for our people.